Hey guys, Sandy here, and I am back for Follow a Sketch February for Sunday, February 25th. And today I found a sketch, and this sketch is from miraclesmamadesigns.blogspot.com by Heather Landry, and it's from May 2013. And I think instead of subtitles up here, I'm going to have some journaling. That's my original thought process anyway. I'm doing this one photo of our family at Disney in 2015. And the two things I've pulled out so far are just some paper, and this is from Echo Park Magical Adventure, and also a piece of paper from Creative Memories Imagine collection. And this is a very thin paper. This is a thicker paper. So I'm going to do a little mat around here. Definitely going to gut this so I can use it again. All right, let's see what I can do.
Alrighty, so I did exactly that. I went ahead and gutted that striped paper. As you can see, there are the guts on the right. And I just trimmed 1/4 of an inch off both edges of that Creative Memories paper. And that gave me that nice little border. Now, I've been trying for the past 10 minutes to get my new microphone set up to work. However, when I test it, it starts to record for the first few seconds and then stops right after. So I'm going to have to look into that and figure out what's going on. I'm just too wiped out to figure it out right now. So I'm sitting here looking at this layout that I just made, and you were watching me start to make and just realized I never crossed the T in the journaling, so go ahead and do that real quick. All right, did that. Now I have all these Disney papers and things. I have a Disney cube on my shelf, and I keep my papers and my stickers and embellishments. So I have everything out, and usually when I sit down for Disney, I organize more than it is and kind of place things in strategic places around my desk. And this time I didn't, so I am rifling through a lot of stuff in this layout. Now, I went ahead and pulled out this Dear Lizzie Stargazer chipboard word, and I had visions of doing some sort of mixed media type thing on top of this bad boy, and I decided not to. I decided to keep it plain white for this particular layout, and I really like how it turned out. So this is a photo of us in front of Cinderella Castle in Walt Disney World, and this was our Mickey's Not So Scary Halloween party day. So our kids Disney bound it, and we wore X-Men t-shirts. The girls were the evil stepsisters, and Alex, our son, was Perry the Platypus from Phineas and Ferb. So I'm just sitting here, I'm taking these papers, and the majority of this trip, this particular Disney trip, is done with Echo Park papers. So even though I was pulling in some of the Creative Memories and I pulled in some of the Simple Stories later on, I wanted to make sure that I had Echo Park stuff on the page, because every single layout in the 2015 Disney albums have Echo Park on it, even though I bring in other lines. So it's just something consistent throughout the entire album. So I mess around with this for a little bit, trying to decide if I want it, kind of wonky like in the sketch, or if I want them straight and even, and I end up going for a combination of both. So my mats are all straight, like the photo is straight on the blue mat, and then I have this castle paper, and that ends up being straight on a yellow mat, but the photo is kind of wonky over top of the castle, and you'll be able to see that in a second. And I just felt like I needed a little bit more color. Since the diagonal paper has the blue, yellow, and the red, obviously in the black and white as well, I just wanted to keep that going and just have those colors out and popping. Now this is one of the Creative Memories papers, and I've got to say, the Creative Memories papers are great colors for Disney. It's their Imagine line. Seriously, great colors. They coordinate well with the Simple Stories and the Echo Park lines. Now, the Simple Stories probably a little bit less because the Creative Memories is a crisp white, where most of the Simple Stories, I know Say Cheese 1 and 2 are creamy. I'm not sure about Say Cheese 3. I have Say Cheese 3, but that is for our 2017 trip. And that's all bundled together in its own little place. Okay, so as you can see, that's how I made that photo a little bit wonky. And here I'm thinking about using these black, red, and yellow banners underneath of there to mimic the scalloped piece in the sketch. Now I end up just using a scalloped piece because I'm going through my 12 by 12 sticker sheets right now, and I have this sticker sheet, and this is probably the third sticker sheet of this particular sticker sheet that I have owned. So I just went ahead and pulled off this white polka dot on red, and I'm trimming it down so that the scallops end on full scallops and that it's, going to be straight. Now this is really awesome because this text print in the background allows me to make sure everything is straight. And as you can see, when I pulled that photo up, it did pull some of the color off of the page. So there is that. I have just discovered with the new Creative Memories papers. I think I still have some old Creative Memories papers, like old Creative Memories papers. I'm gonna have to pull those out. Or did I use them all? I can't remember. All right, so this is where I pulled in a little bit of the Simple Stories, and it has the cream based. And realistically, you're only seeing, once this layout is finished, you're seeing 1, 2, 3, 4 tiny pieces of stars underneath of this Simple Stories bit of paper. But to me, it works. Like, it's stars. It reads as stars. There's enough stars on this page when it's finished that you can tell. Just like this castle paper, most of the castles are covered. There isn't one full castle for that castle photo mat when I'm finished with this layout. But it's a castle. You see enough parts of it, and it's such an iconic thing for Disney that you just know it's there. So I'm not particularly worried about whether or not you see the entire castle. You can't even see the entire castle in the background. You only see bits of it. And that is okay with me. I have so many Disney layouts and so many Disney albums and plenty of pictures with full-on castle and plenty of this paper in the other albums with full-on castle. Like, you can see it. I'm okay with this. I promise. Okay, so I've pulled out these glitter stars from Freckled Fawn, and I have a bunch of them. Now, at first I was thinking about going with the silver just because I like to mix it up, and I like silver. But I end up going with the gold, and I'm okay with that. I think in the 2015 album, there's actually gold and silver sparkly bits, so it doesn't matter if this is gold. It's all good. Now, I was trying to figure out a way to add a little bit of an embellishment cluster over here to the right of the photo, since the photo is kind of heavy on the left, meaning it's covering up more of the photo mats on the left, and I had this big expanse of photo mat on the right, and I needed something over here just to balance it so it didn't feel like my page was lopsided. And I'm going to go ahead and use this sticker, and I'm going to use the sticker for the little stars on it and the diagonal stripe. So it has nothing to do with the saying about it's a mouse thing. It just doesn't. It's just there for decoration. And I'm trying to find the perfect position for it where I can use this Admit One sticker on top and still see the little stars that are underneath. Now that's because that's the whole thing. This layout is going to be full of stars. There's even stars on the castle photomat paper, so there's stars everywhere. And I decide I needed to bring in a little pop of red, and I'm just trying to get these two to layer up so that they look good. However, I end up figuring out that the ticket needs to go on the top with smile underneath. And I just make sure to layer smile and it looks good. So I have this star and it's too big. And then I decide, oh, it just needs this little gold star over here and then it will be perfect. So I realized that I had already pulled the adhesive backing off this star. So I went ahead and plopped it down. And that's right then and there is when I decide I'm just leaving this title white. Like it needs that big pop of white. I thought about embossing it to give it an enamel finish, but I decided not to because I knew I was going to be bringing in enamel dots and I didn't want so much enamel. I liked the flat chipboard look of it. So now I'm just adding adhesive to my stars to figure out where I want them to go. And instead of kind of a straight up and down-ish embellishment like on the sketch, I decided to go at an angle. And that's just because of the way I did my photo and put a little cluster over there. It's all about like having balance on the page, and it doesn't have to be symmetrical balance, but it does have to have balance. And I think that, I don't know when I started thinking about balance a whole lot, and it's mostly subconsciously. Now, when I was in college, one of my first elective fun classes was an art class, and we talked about balance and symmetrical balance and non-symmetrical balance and, you know, how to fill a page and white space. And it was just a basic art class and it was good. We learned a lot. And I don't know if that just is subconsciously in my head or it's more of a I like this, so I'm going to do it type thing. Maybe it's a combo of both. We'll say that. Now that art class I took, let's see, at the end, the 98-99 school year. So pushing 20 years. So, but you know what? Pushing 20 years, and I remember, like I have vivid recollections of some of the moments in that class. So it must have done something. Now here's where I decide to pull in the enamel dots. And I was thinking about the sparkly ones, but the sparkly ones didn't make it. And I was thinking about the yellow ones, but the yellow kind of didn't match up well with the gold. So I just decided to go with these black ones. And one day I will probably stop doing this where I use 3 different size enamel dots clustered together. I'll probably go back to some more spaced out dots, but for right now I'm digging this look. I'm especially digging this look because I want these star bits to be clusters. Now on the back here I'm just trying to get my pen to prime a little bit. I really like this pen. It's a Uniball Signo and it's a pigment ink pen, and this is the pen that I've had the most success with, but it's starting to be mean to me. Like it's starting not to write in the very best ways. So I don't know. I'm going to have to do some research on some pens. If you guys have a pen that you love, a white pen that you love, will you leave me a comment below and let me know? I'm really interested because I feel like I'm always on the search for the best white pen, and it goes back and forth, but I usually end up back with this Uniball Signo. So we'll see. Now, I didn't have enough room to write out everything that I wanted to, so I just added the line on top, and it wasn't like ordered journaling or anything. It was just saying what we wore and about Disney bounding. And I decided that instead of slapping some mist on there, I was just going to do little dots with my pen. So that's what I did. I did some dots, and then I went back and I did some stars, and some of them look like stars and some of them just look like some funky blobs, but it's all good and it works, and it's just giving me a little bit more of that kind of like swirliness down across the page. And that's going to do it for this one. Thanks so much for watching, guys, and I will see you again.